And hopefully that's working. A very good evening to you. My name is Stephen Kirker. This is the Daily Wrap from Forever Sport, our new name. And coming up in the program tonight, it's Big Cricketing Day and a Bowler's Day out at Supersport Park in Centurion. That's where the action is happening in that first test match between South Africa and the West Indies. Also test match taking place in India, and England's ODI squad are on tour in Bangladesh, as well as wrapping up the CSA 4-day series matches which took place today. Oh, and Arsenal and English Premier League action tonight. There's also FA Cup, last 16 matches. Yes, boss, I am wearing the West Ham shirt. We're coming for you. Just kidding. Okay, I'm getting carried away. A legendary World Cup scorer has died today, and Ian Foster, the All Blacks coach, he reckons after the World Cup, that's it. He's out of here. Now, let's talk about that first test match. Yeah, it really has been a bowler's day. Remember that South Africa resumed on 320 for 8. And they didn't stick around very long, and added another 12 runs to their overnight score with Alzarri Joseph picking up his maiden 5-wicket haul, picking up the last 2 wickets. That of it was Gerald Coetzee and Heinrich Nortje. But each of them did contribute a few runs. Marco Jansen there ending 23 not out. And in the West Indies innings, they were looking pretty good at one stage, but Heinrich Nortje pegged them back towards the end there. You see, the West Indies all out for 212. They were at one stage 122 for 3, but certainly that's spelled by Nortje picking up another 5-wicket haul, reduced them to 212 all out. Also good support from the debutant Gerald Coetzee, as well as Jansen himself and Kagiso Rabada, who was very, very good up front. Welcome return to form, I reckon. No wickets there for Sinner and Mutasamy. Some people are criticizing the selection of Mutasamy ahead of the incumbent spin bowler, Keshav Maharaj. But Keshav Maharaj did lack some incisiveness in recent test matches, and I guess there's something to be said for that selection of Mutasamy. He has been in decent form. Having said that, in the most recent round of CSA 4-day matches before the present round, I seem to remember Kesh picked up a 10-wicket haul. So back to form. Aidan Markram's picked up where he left off in the first innings, and playing positively, 35 not out there, you'll see, off 33 deliveries. But yeah, a miserable match with the bat for Temba Bavuma. A golden duck this time, falling victim to Joseph. Again, caught behind by Joshua Da Silva, the keeper. Tony Dezorzi on debut, unfortunately a golden duck for him, dismissed the same way as his skipper. And the wicket which has just fallen, Keegan Peterson back in the side. 7 of 8 deliveries. The match isn't over, but it'll be interesting to know what you think of the selections that were made for this test match, and whether they were the correct selections. And I guess I would urge you to try not to think about specific performances in this game, although it hasn't finished yet. But I guess looking forward to the long-term performances of the Proteas, and whether the people who've been left out deserve to have been left out. I know some people were a bit surprised that Carl Verreynne was left out. He batted reasonably well. And then there's another wicketkeeper in the shape of Ryan Rickleton, who's been in excellent form with the bat. But Shukri Conrad, well, he's decided to go with the wicketkeeper Heinrich Klaassen, who contributed runs in the first innings, but let's see what he does in the second innings. So 2 wickets there for Alzarri Joseph. There is also some pretty exciting test cricket taking place in India. Now, I mean, here, when India got a bit of their own medicine with Australia in a position to pull a match back after day one in Lahore. They rolled the hosts out for 109, then reached 156 for 4. In reply, Indians undone by the tourist slow bowlers on something of a snake pit of a surface. All 10 wickets falling to the tourist slow bowlers. You'll see there that 109 out, all out, and 5 wickets for Matthew Kuhnemann, 3 for Nathan Lyon, and 1 for Todd Murphy. No real answer by the Indian batsmen. Only 2 scores over 20 there. Virat Kohli, who was leg before to Murphy, and Shubham Gill falling to Kuhnemann. In reply, Australia did lose the wicket early of Travis Head, but Usman Khawaja and Marnus Labuschagne putting on a good partnership there, and then Steve Smith falling towards the end of the day for 26. Khawaja there 60, Australia 156 for 4. On this kind of track, you imagine if Australia can reach 200 and push on after that, it's going to be a very handy lead. But don't count the Indian spinners out. Look, you see they opened the bowling. Ravindra Jadeja, he's got 4 wickets, and Ravichandran Ashwin yet to get off the mark. And in domestic cricket action, it's been taking place all around the country. Oh, hang on, there's one limited overs international. David Malan, the Pal born, no, not the Pal, he went to Pal High School though. Pal Boys High. He guided England to a 3-wicket victory against Bangladesh. That's in the first ODI in Mirpur today. Malan, he arrived at the crease at the end of the first over of England's reply, and he ended unbeaten on 114 of 145 deliveries, 8 fours and 4 sixes. I think he played a very measured knock there, that's for sure. So Bangladesh all out for 209, and a pretty good all-round performance from the England bowlers with 2 wickets apiece for Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, Moeen Ali, and Adil Rashid, and a wicket each for Will Jacks and Chris Wokes. Jason Roy, he didn't last long. He was dismissed in that first over, and Phil Salter didn't last long either. England were in trouble. You can see a whole bunch of single-figure scores there, but between Malan and the lower batting order, with Will Jacks there getting 26, Moeen Ali 14, and then Adil Rashid 17 at the end, he marshalled that to 212 for 7, a very well-guided run chase. They had, 8 balls to spare. And Taishul Islam, although he took 3 wickets, the most expensive bowler there at 5.4 runs and over. So they're building towards the World Cup, are England, the reigning champions, and this is their only one-day international series before that limited overs World Cup, and it's going to be taking place in England. So their form here is going to be very interesting to watch. Here in the CSA 4-day series, something of consolation victory for the Knights, who are looking in trouble of perhaps being relegated to the 2nd division. But anyway, they've won by 161 runs against the Knights on day 4 of their Division 1 match. You can see there that the Warriors were restricted to 284 in their 2nd innings. They were actually looking fairly decent at one stage, with Matthew Britska, who scored his 3rd century of the current season, scoring 111, and Rudy Second making 77 there. But those late wickets all out for 284. 4 wickets for Nhlakanipho Mpongose, 3 for Neelan van Heerden, and 3 for Aubrey Swanepoel. Earlier, 157 was what the Knights were bowled out for in their 2nd innings, with Bayer Swanepoel picking up 5 wickets. That was a disappointing 2nd innings from the Knights, so I'm sure they'll look back at that and see that's where they lost the match, because they had scored 422 in the 1st innings and restricted their host to 134. Still managed to lose that one, so not particularly good from them. The Dolphins didn't have much to do today, but they ended up beating the Titans by 7 wickets. They resumed, I think, on 46 for 3 and advanced to 51 for 3. It was Donovan Ferreira who's making his debut for the Titans, who picked up all 3 wickets, but it was all in vain as the Dolphins reached 51 for 3 in reply. And in the match between the Lions and Western Province. That went into the final session, and it was basically won for them by Bjorn Fortuin. What an incredible match Bjorn Fortuin had. The Western Province at tea time, they only needed 68 runs to win, and they had 7 wickets in the bag, but they didn't count on Bjorn Fortuin, who picked up 6 wickets there. You'll see 3 wickets for Sisanda Magala as well, and a single wicket for Cody Yusuf. But how's this for an incredible all-round game by Bjorn Fortuin? He not only picked up those 6 wickets, he also picked up 3 in the first. He scored a century for the Lions when they batted first, an unbeaten half century, I think, in the second innings, but he scored 129 in the... No, I'm looking at the wrong scoreboard, aren't I? 123 not out in the Lions' first innings, and then he scored a half century in the second innings as well, 65 there, and those 9 wickets. I would suggest that it's time that we think of calling him up again to the Test squad. An all-round game like that is very useful. Let's. I wanted to pull up the table for this series and see where we stand at the moment. I hope this one is up to date. No, that hasn't been updated. I can tell that here. What have we got? Western Province beaten, so that no great wickets. I beg your pardon. Interesting here, Western Province and Warriors both losing. The Titans also losing. The Dolphins winning. The Lions winning. And the Knights winning today. So that makes that log really, really interesting. So that tournament is coming to life, me reckons. Oh, in other cricketer news, this is taking place in England, actually. Now, Cricket South Africa has had to deal with this by confronting racism within the game in itself as an institution, with the Cricket for Social Justice and Nation Building inquiry. Something similar taking place in England. Today's the first day of the Cricket Discipline Commission. It's investigating allegations of racism at Yorkshire that were made by the man on your screen, Pakistan-born spinner Azim Rafiq. He later labelled England, cricket in England, as institutionally racist. So it's an important set of hearings. As a result of those claims, the England and Wales Cricket Board started these disciplinary proceedings against the Yorkshire Cricket Board and 7 players who were charged with bringing the game into disrepute. Now, I guess it's something of a cop-out, really, but only former England and Yorkshire captain Michael Vaughan of the 7 players charged is going to be appearing. Now, Gary Ballance admitted liability to his charge, but Matthew Hoggard, Tim Bresnan, John Blaine, Andrew Gale and Richard Pyra all withdrew. Yorkshire isn't attending either, but they did plead guilty to 4 amended ECB charges. Now, the panel for that consists of former Derbyshire batsman Tim Gorman, who's the chair, Mark Milliken-Smith, and Dr. Seema Patel. Vaughan is probably the most, as England captain and as Yorkshire captain. Rafiq alleged that Vaughan said, "Too many of you lot. We need to do something about it," to Rafiq and 3 other Asian players. That was in 2009 when they were all at Yorkshire. Now, the England bowler Adil Rashid, who's on tour with England at the moment, and also Pakistan bowler Rana Naved Ul Hassan did corroborate that allegation, but another bowler, Ashmal Shahzad, has said he couldn't remember the event. Vaughan has categorically denied the allegation. So far today, last I checked, Rafiq has only been called on to confirm the witness statements that he made. What has happened is the statements that were made by the former England and Yorkshire fast bowler Matthew Hoggard, as well as Tim Bresnan, have been presented, and Rafiq has confirmed his witness statements. Yorkshire and Scotland bowler John Blaine, he has also presented his statements to that. Now, let's turn our attention to some rugby, and this man, Ian Foster, says he won't be New Zealand's coach after the World Cup. He says that he's confirmed that he won't be reapplying for the position after the tournament in France. That is when his contract with New Zealand Rugby ends. Now, Foster, who was the long-time assistant to Steve Hansen, he's not enjoyed a tenure quite as successful as his predecessor, and he's actually not happy. And I kind of get this, that his employer's advertising for the position while they're getting ready for the World Cup. Yeah. Anyway, a series defeat to Ireland and a first ever defeat by Argentina on home soil. I reckon there would have been a very small chance that if Foster had reapplied that he'd be given the position again. But maybe he'll get to prove his detractors wrong and steer the All Blacks to the World Cup title in October. They are, after all, the Rugby Championship champions, and they went unbeaten on their end of year tour last year. Remember the Box? They won 2 out of 4 of theirs. Now, it's football tonight, and in the English Premier League, we've got 2 games. It's the match between top side Arsenal and a side which was under the pump and still under the pump, Everton, as far as relegation goes. And let's have a look at that table. Here we go. You see there, Arsenal at the moment 2 points clear of Manchester City. They do have that game in hand, so they will be looking to win that one. And you got to fancy their chances against Everton, lying down there in the relegation zone. And if they do claim the victory tonight, they're going to be the first side to beat another club, 100 wins. I think that's in league. But Everton, they have won 4 of their last 5 games against the Gunners, but they have never beat any log leader in the English Premier League away from home. So I'd say the omens are stacked against them. There's also Liverpool taking on Wolves. We're at Liverpool in the standings, 36 points. They've got a couple of games in hand over Fulham. They'll be looking to go past Fulham on their goal difference and move up into 6th place. But Wolves did beat them. Remember when they met in Molineux recently? And if Wolves do the unthinkable, although the way Liverpool's playing this season, I don't know. It seems like if Liverpool are there for the taking by Wolves at the Kop, it might be this season. And it would be the first league double by Wolves since 1950-51. But Liverpool have won 18 out of the last 20 meetings at the Kop with Wolves, and they haven't lost to them since 2010. Mohamed Salah, if he gets on the score sheet and scores a brace, he could become Liverpool's joint highest Premier League scorer. There are also a couple of FA Cup ties. There's Southampton against Grimsby, Burnley, Fleetwood, and Man United welcome my club, West Ham. He'll be without first choice goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski. He's got a broken cheek and eye socket. So it's going to be a great victory against the Red Devils tonight. I can feel it. Although, of course, as we can see, based on recent form, we can see Manchester United in the league. And they did have that great victory last week in Europe. Manchester United on a run of, 3 victories and a draw in their last few league games. Yeah, I don't think the punters are going to be giving West Ham much of a chance. Last night, Leicester was dumped out 2-1 by Championship side Blackburn, but Manchester City and Brighton won their ties against Championship clubs, with City beating a plucky Bristol City and Brighton edging Stoke 1-0. City won 3-0. Fulham won the All Championship tie against Leeds. That was 2-0. Now, talking about record breakers, this man, Just Fontaine, the French striker who holds the record for the highest number of goals at a World Cup, he's died, aged 89. He scored an incredible 13 goals at the 1958 World Cup. He helped France reach the semi-finals for the first time. Good stuff from him. I could try and pull up my screen. And what do I want to pull up here? I wanted to pull up, that one. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at that. So, He helped France reach the semi-finals for the first time in that 1958 World Cup. They went on to finish third. And to this day, Fontaine, well, as you can see there, he's still joint fourth on the list of World Cup scorers alongside Lionel Messi, although Messi has played in a lot more tournaments. Look at that, Just Fontaine, matches 6, his conversion rate 2.17 goals per game. Lionel Messi only scores half a goal per match. And of course, he's played 26 times for Argentina. Gerd Müller up there with 14 goals, and Cristiano Ronaldo 15, and Miroslav Klose, the former German striker, up there with 16. I managed to pull up some archive footage of the great man in action. I think, well, let's do that. Yeah, it's down here. Have a look at this. No, not that. I beg your pardon. I'm going to switch back to here and pull up that footage that I really wanted to use. Let's get that out of the way. Yes, I should label things differently. Here you go. Here on this feed. Thank you very much. I know there's some messages here, but I'm just not picking them up. That's very... Yeah, you can hear my thing. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. Listen, if you have contributed a message here, I am battling to pick it up. I'm going to have to consult with the bosses and ask them about that, because clearly there's one of the things which was left out as far as my training was concerned, or at least my learning. Let's be more accurate about that. Let's go end this daily sports wrap by going back to the cricket and get a final update on the day's score. And this is what that scorecard looks like at the moment. Aidan Markram's still there, 35 not out, and 49 for 4. I guess that was stumps, right, when that fourth wicket fell. South Africa leading by 179 runs. I guess you have to say that's a good day for them, but they really would have hoped for a little bit more to make it really convincing, because, you know, what happens if the track really flattens out tomorrow and, you know, nothing comes of... Okay, so how about this? South Africa managed to score another 100 runs and set the West Indies, say, 280 to win. I reckon that will be gettable. But Aidan Markram's there. We've still got the likes of Heinrich Klaassen, who's the last, I guess, recognized batter to come. And then all-rounders Seniran Mutsasamy and Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada, Heinrich Nokia, and Gerald Coetzee. So we are a bit thin in the tail, and that's certainly one aspect of the West Indian side, is they do have a long tail. But having said that, it didn't kick on for them today. So it's going to be important, I reckon, how the sides bowl. Well, particularly us, how we bowl at the so-called tail of the West Indies, because it's all very well to get rid of the top and middle order batters, but if we let the tail wag, we're going to be, you know, chasing leather. And in recent years, I seem to have the impression that we've not had a great run against tail enders. We seem to go to sleep. But Heinrich Nokia doing the business today. Anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't get to the messages. I mean, I can see there's some messages here. But, you know, here I am. I'm the Luddite, and I haven't been able to work that out. So I'm terribly sorry. I will have the meeting with the bosses later on and be castigated and shown how to do this. And wish you an excellent evening, and hope to speak to you again tomorrow evening, when I promise that I'll have worked out how to do this. Anyway, have a good one, okay?